was a girl born to progressive parents in India. Her life has taken her on some incredible journeys and presented her with some challenging circumstances. And Ela Pandya writes about all of it in her book, I Made Lemonade. And Ela joins us now. So, a local author, and I love having authors on because, you know, you can be anywhere in the world, but I think we're super lucky because you're from right here in Porterville, and you brought your book with you, and it's called I Made Lemonade, and it's a memoir.
Yes.
So tell us why you wrote this book.
Well, I came from India in the 80s, and at that time, internet came in the 90s, and in early 80s, Indian political leaders opened up India for globalization.
Yeah.
So with the internet and the foreign countries, businesses coming to India, things changed.
Yeah.
But when I came from India, we didn't have a telephone at our home. I couldn't reach my family. America didn't have that many Indian people or that many Indian stores.
Sure.
So I think those who came before India opened up its markets and before the internet, we have our special story to tell.
Yeah.
Because the challenges we faced as immigrants are not the same challenges that immigrants from India face today.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it wasn't that long ago, so it's a pretty modern immigrant story.
Yes.
And so in the book, you talk about your arranged marriage. And you and I sort of talked about this when I was emceeing an event for Zonta.
Yes.
And I think it's I just think it's such an interesting perspective about unions and about relationships. And so what did you learn from that? Why did you feel like that was a story you wanted to tell?
Well, marriage and life itself is tough.
Yeah.
And then marriage is tough. And then to be married to someone you have no clue about is tough. And then to be married to someone and having to live with that stranger in a foreign country.
Yes.
Add that to the mix. That was interesting for me to write about. You know, people don't understand arranged marriages.
Yeah.
They don't understand immigrant culture shock.
Sure.
And so I wanted people to see that people think that in India we have arranged marriages and so the lower rate of divorce, and in America there is higher rate of divorce. But there is no such generalization that applies to anything. You know? Arranged marriages remain, the people who have had arranged marriages in India back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we remain in the marriage because those women, they didn't have economic opportunities.
Right.
And so they didn't. And then our culture in India, people don't know this, but when you have once you are married, you don't belong to your parents' family.
Right.
You belong to your
husband's family.
Yeah. So when you're arranged to marry and you leave home, it's like literally you leave home forever.
Well, it's definitely you know, something that's foreign to American culture, but it doesn't mean that your family can't adopt new cultures or that you can't sort of modify your marriage to fit, you know, where you live now. And that sort of brings us to how your philanthropy. And so you're very involved in Zonta in Porterville.
Yes.
And so how did you why was that so important for you to find a philanthropic outlet?
So my marriage was arranged right after I finished my MBA. And I had dreams and I had goals.
Yeah.
And ever since I was young, fairness was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So I could see that in our patriarchal society, the society was not fair to women. I could see that with my mother's life, with my sister-in-law's life. And so I had dreams to work towards that kind of a goal where I bring awareness that women carry half the sky.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I feel like women carry the whole sky. You go anywhere in the world, any business, any organization, you'll see women carry most of the weight.
Yeah.
Right? So I wanted to work towards that.
Yeah.
And then my parents arranged my marriage, and my life changed completely. And I was literally depressed and lonely. And then Zonta Club of Porterville in California, in Porterville, they invited me to join them. And when I read the mission statement of Zonta International, which was empowering women and girls, I'm like, I found my place.
And I think that's true, even if you're not in an arranged marriage. If you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage where you chose to marry this person, sometimes it can feel very lonely. And if you don't have a network outside of that, it can feel very isolating, especially if you're not getting every single emotional need that you need met by one single person. And that's a lot to put on one person.
Yeah.
But so Zonta sort of it sort of put you on this path that you found sort of your passion project. And when you told me this at the event I was at, I was very surprised that there are several states in America that don't have child marriage laws. There is no law in the book that gives an age requirement for marriage.
Yes.
So how did you find this out? How and what are you doing about this issue that you're so passionate about?
Yes, so in 2018, Zonta International decided to fund a UNFPA project and UNICEF project that takes on eliminating child marriages in 12 countries.
Yeah.
So when they did that, all of us in the US are like, well, we're the best country in the world, and we have no child marriage. Shame on those 12 countries, right? And so we started looking into it, and we found out that there is a specific minimum age for child marriage in America in every state.
Sure.
However, there are loopholes built into the laws that allow marriage below the age of 18.
Right.
So when we discovered that, I was a co-convener of the USA Caucus for Advocacy. That means I and my co-convener, we were uniting all the Zonta members in the United States to work for advocacy in the United States. And we partnered with the National Coalition to End Child Marriage, and we started helping the coalition. So the coalition would select a state where there is a potential to clean up the law. Then the Zonta members in that state would get activated and support those efforts.
And support and get together and work to raise awareness. Well, the book about your story is just so interesting and so inspiring. So the book is called I Made Lemonade by Ela Pandya, and we will have all the information on where we can find the book. We'll have information on how you can join Zonta. Maybe you can start your own chapter if you're not in Porterville. We will put all that information online. Ela, thank you so much for being here.
Well,
Thanks for sharing your story.
Time,
We
and
appreciate
thank
it.
you for coming to help with Zonta's fundraiser.
Absolutely.
I mean, Zonta is an awesome global organization, and we have to stick. I call Zonta my tribe.
Yes.
Every woman needs her tribe.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I want to support it. Ela, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody else stay right there. We'll be right back.